wonderful people, you are welcome to today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining in today's class.
And if you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate your concern and support on this channel. Thank you.
And if today is your first time of coming across my channel, please kindly click on that subscribe button, okay? And also on the bell beside it to be notified each time I upload a new video. So today we'll be working on a gown, a flare gown, Maxi flare gown with just our thread rubber. We use our rubber thread to bring it firm or make it firm at the under bust. So it's just a cut together. There's no joining at the half waist. Yes, there's no joining at the half waist. And during this course of this tutorial, I'm going to add more allowance to it, because of the rubber thread we are going to add. So now, because there won't be any joining at the under bust or at the half length, what I'm going to, see how I'm going to fold in a bias form. Fold in our flare just in a bias form. See this Ankara material, how beautiful it is. So while folding, we're going to fold this way. This at this angle will bring it to this length to match at the other angle. Why this will form in this way? This is a bias form. Just use hand to straighten it up and adjust it with hand. So like this, just this way. So like so. We are going to fold in so the measurement we are going to use to work on this fabric now, we're not going to make use of the hip because it's a flare. Hip measurement is not really required. So we are going to work with the shoulder, the bust, the other bust, okay? Remember, it's at the under bust, we're starting an elastic thread or any other elastic. So then waist. So let's start taking in our measurements. So from this point, I will draw our starting point in a straight line. So this is our starting point from this point. And the full length of this gown is 60 inches. 60. So from that starting point, I'll pull it up because of the table. I'll just have to measure our 60 inches. Like so. So all the way straight. Remember, it's a flare. So remember, it's a flare gown. So we just have to mark our 60. From that same point, make it in a flare form. Mark your 60. We're going to add allowance, joining allowance of 1 inch. Of 1 inch all the way round. Keep on adjusting it. So now I went ahead and added 1 inch allowance. So from our starting point, which is the shoulder area, our shoulder measurement is 8. It's going to have shoulder, going to have sleeve. So I went ahead and added 8.5. 8.5 at that point. I came down 1 inch for the shoulder slant. So now for the neck measurement, we'll take in 4 inches for the width, neck width 4 inches. We are cutting the back first. We'll now use the back to cut the front. So as I said before, here we have our neck width, which is 4 inches. Now we are cutting the back bodice first. So we have one as the depth, the deepness. So I have to curve it in such a way. It's a round neck at the back. So all the way from the shoulder slant, I'll take it up to this point. So now for the sleeve, I came down 8 inches for our sleeve length. That is the shoulder measurement 16 divided by 2. You also have your sleeve length. So now for the armhole depth, I divided the shoulder measurement divided by 2. That is 16 divided by 2. We have 8 inches. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you can as well use the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 to get your armhole depth. So now we have 8 here. And remember we are cutting the back. So what I will do now is to, so now, so sorry for the noise. So for the armhole curve, I came up 1 inch. I will just curve it this way, just that way, like so. So that's that. Then now for our bust measurement, our vertical measurement we are working here, we have the bust. The under bust, as we said earlier, is 13 inches. That's where we're going to insert our rubber thread. And now the waist is 17 inches. So now for the bust we have, that is 38 divided by 4. We have 9.5 inches. I went ahead and mark 9.5. So because of that rubber thread we are going to put in, so I went ahead to add more. It's a maxi gown, more allowance, to give it that fluffy or that shape that we want. So I went ahead and added extra 4 inches. So 4 inches all the way from here, we are going to cut it. The same thing goes to the under bust. 4 inches, that's the allowance, plus sewing allowance of 1 inch. Take note, plus sewing allowance of 1 inch. So that's what I, so also the waist, whatever we have, because the waist is, that is a 36. 36 divided by 4, we have 9 inches. So because of that rubber, everything goes the same way because of the rubber. So no need of taking our waist measurement. So all the way from here now, we'll take this all the way down, to the hem of the gown, like so. So I'm marking in that shape, slanty shape, all the way down to our 61 inches. Remember our full length is 60 inches plus 1 inch for hemming at the lower area. I know it's a flare gown, so to give it that flare shape, so all the way from my shoulder, I'll mark 61. From there to keep on marking it in this slanted form, the same way, keep on giving it that curvy shape. 61. And also from the same shoulder at this side, also mark our 61. So that curvy shape. So from this side, just curve it to.
So let's have a quick look of this maxi flare gown. Let's take a look, overall look of it before I cut it.
See what we have now. See the lower part. See how flare it is. So right now I've gone ahead to, I folded it this way, this right there on top of the front bodice. So I want to cut the front bodice now. Now I'm going to trace out the neckline. Here we have our slant. Remember, we are cutting the front bodice right now. This is the back armhole. So now for this, from this point, that's the neck width. Remember, it's 4 inches. So we're doing a V shape, V neck on the front bodice. So I came down 6 inches for the V neck. You can trace it or you can use ruler. Let me go ahead and use my ruler all the way up. I'm giving it this V shape, okay? So I'm going to slant it this way, just the way you see me doing it. That's a V shape. It could be slanty or curvy. I'm going to cut it this way. I'll cut it right now. From this point, we're going to cut it all the way straight and the slant. That's for the shape, the shoulder slant. Then for the armhole, remember it's a front armhole. So I'm going to look for the midpoint. It's 8 inches, that's the depth, armhole depth. So the midpoint is 4 inches. From that 4 inches, I came in half inch, just half inch. You could make yours 0.075, that is 3/4 half inch, or you just give it that half inch shape. So we'll curve it this way. You can use your pattern master if your hand is not too strong, or you can just curve it out. So I'll curve it out this way. That's the way you see me cutting it. So we have to cut in just half inch, like so. So see what I mean? It's deeper. And this is the back. This is the back now. This is the back armhole. So the front armhole is deeper, so that you can allow easy movement at the front area. So now we're going to cut right there all through to the hem of the gown. So right there we have our curvy flare. We have our flare. See how it is. Here we have the back. Here we have the back. And here we have the front. So the front bodies, I've also gone ahead and cut the lining like so. So I'm also going to fold it using 1.5 inches at the lower hem and close it up. So while stitching now, what I'm going to do now is to stitch the neckline first. Then I'll now stitch the sides using 1/2 inch all the way down. See inside using 1/2 inch. So I'm also going to do that on the back bodice as well. So I'll stitch the gown, sorry, will not have a zip at the back. It's kind of a free maxi gown. So also at the neckline area for the back, I'm going to close the back first, then also close the sides using 1/2 inch all the way down, then hem the lower area. So I'm going to do this and show us how it looks. We have the front and the back bodies already. So now the waist measurement is 36 inches into 2, because we have the front and the back. So into 2 it will be 18 inches. But what I have here as my length of the rubber is 16.5. I just removed 1.5 inches. So I'm going to stitch it right there on this point all the way to bring it or to make it fluffy and not to add more pleating to it. So that's what I'm going to do now. So now I've gone ahead and stitched the elastic right there at the half length. Here I've also folded in the lining. This is the front. Here it is. It's a V shape. So what I'll do now, I'm going to place the right side or the front bodice right there on top of, and then after that I will close it at the using 1 inch all down. I'll close it using 1 inch down. So here we have
the front and the back bodies joined together, okay? Right side facing each other. And also I've gone ahead and measure out the actual body measurement, the bust, then the waist. Then coming down to the hip area. So I've gone ahead and so from the waist, I came down for the pocket length. That is 7 inches pocket space, like so. So all the way from the pocket space, I came down 1 inch down to the hem of the gown. Just the way you see me doing it. Here is our pocket space, 7 inches in length. While from the waist, I came down 3 inches and marked the pocket space. And I've gone ahead also and cut her pocket like so. So it's going to be joined right there in the pocket space that have been marked out already. So I've cut out 2 pockets like so. The length of my pocket is 12 inches in length, while the width is 8 inches, okay? So that by the time I fix it in the 7 inches space mapped out for the pocket, just 1 inch will be for seam allowance. So I went ahead and confirmed the actual body measurement, the bust, the waist, which is 36 inches. I marked it out like so, stopping at the pocket length. So that's where I'm going to fix the pocket, and all the way I'll stitch it.
So now I've gone ahead to stitch the sides using the actual body measurement. The bust was 38 inches, the waist 36. So for the hip, because it's a flare gown, it does not really have, it's not a must or necessary that I will use the actual body measurement, because it's free at the waist, at the hip area. Sorry, at the hip area. So I've gone ahead and stitched the pocket like so. The 2 sides. I've joined the pockets like so on the 2 sides, and I've closed it at the hem area. So what I'm going to do now, I'll turn it to the front so that we can see how it looks. So right now, here is the fabric. Here is our gown. Look at the elastic. So now what I'm going to do next is to join in the sleeve at the sleeve area. So I'm going to take the actual body measurement, taking note of the center point. So taking note of the center point, which is at this point. So I'm going to, our shoulder measurement is 16. So yet I'll place 8 at this point. 8, so we have 16 right here, and also 16 right here. That means 8 on both sides. So I'm going to, from here, trim off the excess. So what I'm going to do next is to, I'll come down at the armhole area. Remember, our armhole is 8 inches down. I measured 8 inches, and also at the other side, I also measure out 8 inches. You can do this on the wrong side. Then what I'm going to do now, from that mark point at the shoulder area, I'm going to trim it like this, all the way like so. I'll come up 1 inch on both sides, and also on the other side. So I'm going to trim off the excess right now. So I also do the same on the other side. So that's it. So let's take our armhole circumference. The circumference, what I have there, 10 inches, and also on the other side we have 10 inches. So I'm going to use this round circumference to cut out the sleeve. Now for the sleeve, what we are going to do now is a flare sleeve. Flare sleeve, 2 steps. So now for the first step, the length, to determine the length, depends on how lengthy you want it. For the first sleeve, I'm making use the length will be 5 inches, while for the second sleeve, the length will be 8 inches.
Now to determine the radius for the armhole,
that will be, we divide whatever the circumference of our armhole is, we divide it by 6.28. That's for full flare. But if it's half flare, we divide it by 3.14 as a circumference. So now, for this flare, to determine our first flare, I'm going to add, remember I said for the length of our sleeve, for the first flare will be 5 inches. And to determine the circumference of our armhole for our first flare, that will be 10 inches for the armhole circumference divided by 6.28. What I have there is 1.59, approximately 1.6. Okay, so 1.6 plus the length to determine the actual folding of this fabric. That is, you add it, the 1.6, which is the armhole circumference, plus the length of the first sleeve, which is 5 inches. So that means all what we have there all together is 6.6. Let's approximate it to 7 inches. So that means for the first sleeve, our folding, everything we are going to fold, the length will be 7 inches. That's for the first. Then for the second sleeve, I said the length will be 8 inches. The length will be 8 inches. So to determine the length, we have 10 all over 6.28. We have 1.56, that is approximately 1.6. Okay, so then they plus the length, which is 8 inches. So 1.6 plus 8, we have 9.6. Approximately we are working with 10 inches for the second sleeve, while for the first sleeve we are working with 7 inches. So let's work on the first sleeve now, which is 7 inches. So to determine the folding, what we are going to fold here will be 7 inches in length. So it's more than 7 inches. I will come down like so. So we have 7 inches plus 1 inch. We are going to add 1 inch for sleeve. So here we have altogether 8 inches. So I'm going to fold it like so in flare form. So this is our full flare shape. Now let's determine our circumference. Remember, we say our circumference for our armhole is 1.6. We can do that 2 inches because it's going to have maybe the allowance that we'll have there, we'll use it to pleat at the shoulder area. So let me take it down 2 inches. I'm going to measure 2 inches all around, like so, 2 inches all around. I hope we're seeing it. So here we have 2 inches. And from this point, we're going to measure our 7 inches. So we're going to cut here and also cut this point. So we have our first sleeve, like so. We have our first sleeve. So I'll use this to cut the second sleeve. So it's going to rest like this. See it on the shoulder and around the armhole. So I'm going to do the second. Now we have cut the first sleeve. I'm going to cut the second one using the same method. So right now we will take down 2 inches, like so. Measure out 2 inches, 2 inches all around. 2 inches all around. So remember I said the second sleeve will be 10 inches. So I'll mark 10 inches. Or let's leave it at 9. I folded 9 already. I'll mark 9 inches. The line depends on what you want. So it's not a must, it must be 10. Depends on your preference. So I'm taking down now 9 inches, like so, all around. So what we have here now is 9 inches, both the allowance and folding allowance. So we're going to use lining, or you can as well use the same fabric to fold it, to close it. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use lining and also the same fabric. So now this is the first sleeve for the second step. So what I'm going to do now is to slit one side. I'm going to slit one side, like so. This is the second tier or step for the sleeve. And also slit this, the first step. I'm going to cut the lining now and show us. So now I've gone ahead and cut the lining just on the second sleeve. For this, there won't be any lining on it. So what I'll do next is to close in, just like so. I'll stitch it all around, then close the openings, then flip it to the right side. I'll also do the same on the other one. Then after which, I will open it this way. After which, after placing the lining, then I will now flip this one right there on top of the, I'll flip the first sleeve right there on top of the second sleeve. Then now close it, stitch it at the armhole area using just 1/4 inch. Then I'll hem the opening, not within fold the first sleeve. I'll just hem it all around. Then I will stitch it to the armhole of the gown. I'll just stitch it to the gown. So I'm going to do this and show us the final look of our gown. So thank you so much for watching to this end. I really appreciate you guys. Please just subscribe to my channel, Infinity's Gallery. Also click on the bell beside it so that when each time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. Like and share the videos to your friends and well-wishers. So thank you so much, guys, and see you in my next tutorial.